All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video, which is based upon an article that I came across, of course, from End Time Headlines. Okay. And of course, the title of this particular article says Spiritual Warfare. After School Satan Club takes aim at Christian clubs for children. Okay, so we're actually going to watch the news report concerning this particular article or this particular situation. Okay, and notice that this information came out on February the 14th, right? Or it seems to. I could be wrong. Maybe End Time Headline put this out maybe a day later. I don't know, but looking at the date, it looks like it came out on so-called Valentine's Day, okay, which is very, very telling, okay, because we already know what, Valentine's Day is really in veneration of. It's really in veneration of Pan, okay, so to speak, right? But as you can see the picture that they used, and I'm going to touch on that a little later on into the video, okay? But, without further ado, let's actually get into the video and, give some commentary. Okay.
We're not teaching children about Satanism. They're just going to know that this is taught by Satanists.
So you're not teaching children about Satanism, but you want them to know that whatever it is you're teaching, that Satanists are teaching it. Okay. I can't take you seriously, sir. Okay, how am I supposed to believe that anything truthful is going to come from somebody that holds the title of a Satanist? Okay, that's number one. And then number two, okay, if it's not about teaching Satanism, then why even have that title to your after-school club? Okay, again, we're going to get further into the video, but the quote-unquote Christian after school club, they hold that title of Christian within there because they're teaching some aspects of quote unquote Christianity. Okay. Ergo, they have that name within their title. Right. So likewise, you have this Satanist after school club, but you're not teaching anything about Satanism. Okay. Somebody make that make sense. But anyway, let's continue.
Some are calling it spiritual warfare. The Satanic Temple has opened another after-school club, this time in an Illinois elementary school as part of its nationwide campaign to push back against a Christian club. Parents protested outside Jane Addams Elementary School in Illinois as the after-school Satan Club met there for the first time last month. The Satanic Temple, which runs the program, says students learn benevolence and empathy, critical thinking, problem-solving, and creative expression.
Okay, now maybe I'm wrong, but shouldn't you be learning all these things in school in general? Why do you have to have an after-school club to actually be taught these four things? Okay. And that's on either side, be it a Christian after school club or a Satanic after school club. You should be taught these things in school, okay? Not an after school club. But, the way I see it, I believe this so-called, Satanist after school club, I believe is controlled opposition. I believe this is just an element of the coming together of opposites, okay? Good and evil. That's why you have a Satanic after-school club versus the Christian after-school club, so to speak. But they're really one and the same. They're just the flip side of the same coin, okay? Because they both represent pretty much the same thing. They're both going off, as we're going to see, further into this video, okay? But I believe this is just a narrative that's being pushed, dealing with opposites. Okay. But anyway, let's continue.
I'm hoping that with our presence, people can see that good people can have different perspectives, sometimes on the same mythology, but not mean any harm.
Okay, so let's pause him right here. Okay, and let's try to make sense of what he's saying, because really no sense came out of that statement. But anyway, he said that, first of all, he referred to himself as good people, or, people who have his title of a Satanist. He said that they can be good people. Sir, you hold the title of a Satanist. What good can come from that? You have to make that make sense. Okay? But I want to hone in on, really, he just took a shot at the Bible. Okay? He said good people can have different perspectives on the same mythology. Okay? Now, what mythology is he talking about? Okay, what is he talking about here? He's making a reference to the Bible. He's trying to call it mythology. Okay, that's what he's doing right here. But you have to understand, where does the whole concept of Satan come from? It comes from the scriptures. Okay, so he's saying that his perspective of, Satan, is different from, what he calls mythology, or it's different from what the Bible actually says Satan really is. Okay. But the point being, this was really a shot at the Bible to call it mythology. And as we get further into the video, you're going to see he calls himself an atheist. So he doesn't adhere to the stories or the teachings of the Bible, but your whole ideology, or the name of your whole ideology, is based off of a character that's really only found in the Bible. Okay, so please make that make sense. But anyway, let's continue.
In 2001, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled religious groups could operate after-class programs in public schools.
And that's exactly why I said that this is just controlled opposition, okay? That's why this bill was put out in 2001, okay? It's really just to lead up to this point, because, soon enough, they want to start indoctrinating people the way that they really want to, okay? They couldn't just start doing that in 2001. You have to gradually spoon feed people to get comfortable, okay, with these different ideologies that they really want to push, okay? But they had to put this bill forth so they'll be able to legally do this, okay? But like I said, this is just controlled opposition. And from an esoteric standpoint, it's really just the coming together of opposites, okay? The Satanist after school club, of course, represents the evil, and the so-called Christian after school club represents the good aspect. Okay. But here again, they're really just one and the same. Okay. One just more extreme than the other. Okay. But anyway, let's continue.
Which allowed for a proliferation of the Good News Christian clubs, now about 5,000 nationwide.
We're not trying to be against anyone.
Now, he just said, we're not trying to be against anyone. Okay. Now, this gentleman here is the president of Child Evangelism Fellowship. Okay. So he's a so-called Christian saying we're not trying to be against anyone. Now, again, this is why the modern day Christian church cannot be taken seriously. Okay. How can you be a quote unquote Christian, so to speak, which again, is supposed to be, that word Christian is supposed to mean a follower of the Mashiach, which is Yahweh Shai, right? But you're not trying to be against anybody, okay? They're trying to bring political correctness into, what they call being a Christian. You can't do that, okay? Yahweh Shai said in the scriptures, he said, if the world hates you, know that it hated me first. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, the servant is not greater than his master. Right. So if the world hated him, it's definitely going to hate you if you're a true follower of the Mashiach. Right. So there's going to be opposition. You're going to have to come against people. But here he's trying to bring political correctness. He's trying to accept everybody, even this so-called Satanist club. OK, you got to make this make sense. All right. But anyway, let's continue.
We're simply trying to take the biblical good news of the gospel to the children.
As a counterbalance, the Satanic Temple said it intends to open more clubs in schools where the Christian clubs are meeting.
Did you hear that? She said that as a counterbalance, the Satanic clubs are going to try to open up clubs where the quote unquote Christian clubs are meeting. Again, there is an esoteric element to this. OK, that's why I said it's controlled opposition. They're trying to push the coming together of opposites. OK, this is why they actually showed on the cover of this article. They had what, modern day people call the Baphomet. OK, which is really Pan. OK, that's the ancient name for that quote unquote deity. But they showed the Baphomet, which represents the coming together of opposites. And we're going to touch on that a little later on in this video. OK, but again, like I said, this esoteric element is just dealing with the coming together of good and evil. OK, but anyway, let's continue.
What's your objection to the good news clubs?
Well, the good news clubs, we felt, were particularly troublesome in the way that they do explicitly try to indoctrinate children. They do try to prepare the children to proselytize to others.
So your beef with the Christian after school clubs is they prepare the children to indoctrinate and proselytize others. OK, but yet you're claiming that that's not what your club is trying to do. OK, you claim that your club is not out there to indoctrinate people with Satanism. But yet your beef with the Christian school club is that they're trying to indoctrinate people with their ideology. But yet they're saying that the Satanic after school club is supposed to act as a counterbalance. How can you be a counterbalance if, the Christian after school club is pushing their ideology? But that would mean that to be a counterbalance, you would have to push your ideology as well. OK, that's why I said I can't take anything that you say seriously. OK, sir, I believe you're lying. OK, I believe full well that you're going to push your doctrine on these children in some way, shape or form. OK, and not only that, just to get a side point, notice this dude is quote unquote blind in one of his eyes. OK, it's his right eye. So that would mean that his left eye is what's exposed, right? The left eye represents who? The mother goddess, or the so-called mother goddess. OK, I don't believe that this is coincidental. I believe that this is on purpose. OK, he's chosen to be the spokesperson to push a particular message. OK,
The Satanic Temple says it is really an atheist organization. Despite this
now let's talk about this statue, because this is very, very important. OK, I already said that this is controlled opposition, and there's an esoteric component behind this. It represents the coming together of opposites. That's what this whole story is really about. OK, look at the statue. You have on, if you're looking at it from our left, on the left, you have a little girl, which appears to be a Caucasian, right? And then to the right, you have a little boy who appears to be a Jake. OK, so here you see the component of the coming together of opposites. You have male, female. OK, then you have white, black, or Caucasian. Then you have the so-called black child, right? That's the coming together of opposites. That's what this is entailing. Then you have the as above, so below sign that the actual Baphomet is making. OK, again, the coming together of opposites, right? And not to mention, I already said that this deity is really Pan. Okay. And we know how, quote unquote, Pan felt about children. Okay. That particular deity. Okay. Just think about the term pansexual. And I'm trying to use my words wisely. Okay. These YouTube algorithms or whatever, they're very sensitive. But we know how Pan felt about children, especially little boys. Okay. This is where you get the story Peter Pan from. Okay. The story Peter Pan is just a child-friendly version of the Greek deity Pan. Okay. This is why Peter Pan led the lost boys into through the woods. Okay. The Greek god Pan is a woodland deity. Okay. That's infatuated with children, or really with everything, but especially children, little boys. Okay. But let's get another angle. The cameraman is going to show this statue from another angle, and it's going to happen on purpose. Okay. So let's get to that real quick, because there's more meat on this bone to be spoken
Statue
about.
depicting its leader, followers don't believe in spirit.
Now, here you have it. Okay, remember I told you that the cameraman is going to get this statue at another angle, and this is on purpose. Okay, it's to put emphasis on something. Okay, now notice you could clearly see that the boy is a Jake. Okay, he's an Israelite, right? And you see to the left, of course, is a little girl who appears to be Caucasian, right? But notice how how they place the little girl on the left with the Baphomet pointing up, right? And the little boy has to be on the side of the Baphomet that's pointing downward. This is conveying a message, okay? Now, if you look at society in general, okay, we know that the Caucasian is placed at the top of the food chain right now, okay, especially the white female. Okay, now this is not, a racist comment. This is just, it's the truth, okay? And then who's at the bottom of the food chain? Who is at the very bottom of society right now? It's the black man, the so-called black man, the Israelite man. OK, that's why they had to place him on the side of the quote unquote Baphomet that's pointing downward. OK, and they had to put the little Caucasian girl on the side of the Baphomet that's pointing upward, because the Caucasian female is placed on the top of the pedestal in this particular society. Right. Women in general, but especially the Caucasian female. OK, so that's what that's going into. And while they have the camera right here, look towards the belt line of the quote unquote Baphomet here. OK, you see what's known as the intertwining serpent. OK, the intertwining serpent is represented by the number 23. OK, which also represents DNA. The intertwining serpent is also represented by the letter W. Now, why is that? That's because the letter W, of course, is the 23rd letter in the English alphabet. Okay. Ever wonder why the old rap group, the West Side Connection, always threw up the letter W? That wasn't for the West Side. Okay. That was for the intertwining serpent. Okay, a lot of these rap groups, they're Luciferians. They're in the know. Okay, most of the mainstream ones. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
Evil or the devil, who the Bible warns is a master of lies and deception.
Now, their argument is that they don't worship the devil or Satan. Okay, so let me talk about this real quick. When they put these statues here to represent Satan or the devil, so to speak. The Bible never gives this type of description for Satan. OK, but, historically, the horned deity, mainly the goat, has been associated with Satan because of what the scriptures tell you. OK, in the scriptures, the goat has always been synonymous with sin. Okay. What did Yahushua say in Matthew, the 25th chapter? Okay. When he returns, he's going to place the sheep, which is the righteous, on his right hand side. And then he's going to place the goats, which represents the wicked or the evil, on his left hand side. OK, so, of course, the goat has always been a symbol of sin all throughout the Bible. And so being that the goat has always been a symbol for sin, they've associated the image of the goat with Satan. OK, but when the scriptures have never said that Satan looks like this. OK, just to put that out there. But I want to hone in on the middle statue right here. This is actually a more accurate depiction of the quote unquote Baphomet. This is why that first statue had a little girl and a little boy on either side of the statue. Because like I said, it represents the coming together of opposites. OK, that's why when you look at this statue in the middle, it's both a male and a female. Look at the chest. It has breast. OK, that's what that represented in that first statue. OK, the little white girl represented the feminine aspect. OK, and then the little boy, of course, represented the masculine aspect. OK, and both of them coming together, OK, creates what they call their version of perfection, which is the divine transgender. OK, it's both male and female. That's why this statue in the middle, OK, it clearly looks like a man, but it looks like a female at the same time because it has breast. OK, but anyway, I thought I would just point that out. All right, let's continue with the video.
They're doing the work of Satan, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Because this is what Satan would do. Satan, the term itself, means evil.
No, sir. The term Satan literally means adversary. Okay. Again, this is why I say the so-called Christian church, okay, the modern day Christian church, it cannot be taken seriously. They just say stuff just to be saying it because it sounds nice. Okay. The word, like I said, the word Satan or Shaitan, Ha-Shatan, in ancient Hebrew, it means adversary. Okay. Now, of course, the word devil means deceiver. Okay. But here again, they don't even understand basic definitions of words. Okay. But he's up here, trying to defend, his club. Okay. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, let's continue.
And this is not the influence you want to bring upon your children.
So far, the Satan Club isn't that popular. The school said 2 students from the same family attended the first meeting last month, as well as the second meeting this week. In New York, Lauren Green, Fox News.
But anyway, brothers and sisters, that's pretty much it on that particular video. Again, I stumbled across this particular article from End Time Headlines, concerning this, after school club, this satanic after school club that's, supposed to be a counterbalance for the Christian after school club. And I just kind of see what's going on here. Again, they're trying to get you comfortable with different ideologies that they've been, gradually leading up to. And then on another level, this just simply represents the coming together of opposites. That's really what this is dealing with. OK, but, I thought it was an interesting topic. Spirit moved me to speak on it some, but anyway, of course, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach Kodash. I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. And until next time, Shalom, family.